Hey, how's it going? A little bit of a scuffed setup, I know, but as you can see behind me, that's the main rotation. My swim bait's been extremely windy, and that has made it extremely hard to fish, unfortunately. So I'm just kind of cooped up and, not really buying a lot of baits, but like trading a lot of stuff, getting rid of a lot of things that I don't really use that much, and really whittling down the collection to a few baits that I'm really gonna, because I mainly short bang. I don't have a boat or a kayak or anything, so whenever I'm fishing, I'm carrying everything on my back, and it's a little bit tough to really carry more than like 10 or 15 baits with me. But I'll show you guys what's in my main rotation right now, as well as a few new baits that I got, including Hinkle Trout, which is one I've been wanting to get for a little over 2 years, for as long as I've been into swim baits, and now that it's finally a dream that I've achieved, it's pretty surreal, but at the same time I'm extremely lucky, and I'm ready to hopefully catch some big fish on it. So let me start with that. So here's the Hinkle Trout. It's in a brown trout colorway. You're gonna notice that on a lot of my glides I have a pink tracer on it, and that's just because glare. I have a lot of issues with glare with my eyes, and it really makes it easier to see a lot of these baits that are like literally darkly colored like this. But I currently have it tuned to be a slow float, and it dives like 1 to 2 feet down on a retrieve. That's mainly just because I don't want to lose it. It's they're pretty pricey baits, and I'm not exactly wanting to lose it immediately after getting it, especially like on like a cast off or something like that. And if it floats, it makes it a lot easier to retrieve. So yeah, that's the Hinkle. 11 inches, 9 ounces, and then I run quads on all my baits. You're gonna see on this one I'm running size 1/0 quads. So yeah, that's the Hinkle. Next bait is another one that I got really recently. It's a Piz carp wake. I love this thing. I haven't really got to throw it that much. I've only had it for a week or so, but looks great, and I know a lot of these look great in the water, so ready to throw it. I have size 2 quads on it. I think it's, from what I've seen, it dives about a foot down, which is pretty nice. But it also, no need for a tracer because it's white on the top and on the bottom. And I think it's the Stormtrooper, like Star Wars colorway. I'm really looking for a Vader Beast Wake, but that's the ultimate goal. But at the moment, I'm happy with what I have, and I'm not exactly looking to buy any more baits at the moment. So until I lose something, I'm chilling for now. But yeah, that's the Star Wars Carp Baby Wake from Piz Baits. All right, moving on to another glide. This is a Scumline Customs DD Gill glide. I haven't really fished this too much. There's like an extra pocket for some weight. From what I've noticed, it's really good on like a steady retrieve. You don't really need to add like a lot of like real twitches or anything to it. It swims pretty great on just a straight retrieve, and it's a very slalom, like S style motion. Nothing really too crazy with it, but it's about 3 ounces. Throws really well on my light swim bait rod, which I'll get to in a little bit. I'll go over my rod and reels and everything at the end. But yeah, great bait. I love it. Swims great. So okay, now we're getting into the throwback baits that I have. This is a Bad Bunny. Great waking and walking bait, from what I can tell, from what I've learned and gleaned on the internet, and from what I've realized from throwing it. But I decided to spruce it up a little bit, mainly because I use it as like a walking bait, because I have other wake baits. I added some feathers to these 1/0 quads, or sorry, size 1 quads, and looks pretty sick. Pretty cool bait though. It's got gold on the top. I think it's a special like Christmas colorway, so it's got gold on the bottom as well, and then it's got a little belt supposed to be like a Santa belt, but I like to call it like a BB belt. I don't know. It's pretty funny. But yeah, 3 ounces, makes a shit ton of noise, which is pretty cool. So yeah, that's pretty sick. I love this thing. Next up is the coveted pink lemonade Metro from Throwback. Missed out on the drop recently. It sold out in like 2 minutes or something like that, crazy. But you know, they did a pre-order the next day, and I was able to snag one that way, which is pretty cool. Thrown a decent amount, not like too much. You're gonna notice like a lot of this stuff I've gotten pretty recently. That's just from like trading a lot of my like ABS plastic stuff that I don't really use that often, and you know, instead trading it for something that's I'm going to use a little bit more, that I like a little bit more, because I am a fisherman, but I also do like to collect baits at the same time. It is a little bit fun. That's the one thing I love about swim baits, is it's like functional art. So yes, it does look beautiful. It looks cool on your wall, but at the same time, I like going out on my weekends and throwing them around, which is, I don't know, it's just cool. You can't do that with like a painting or with like baseball cards or anything. I mean, I play Pokemon, but you're not throwing the cards around or anything like that. So I don't know, it's just cool. It's a different type of hobby. But yeah, Metro pink lemonade. All right, last but not least, on the Throwback baits, we have the Throwback resin chickadee, I believe. I think this is resin. Looks like it. Anyway, just got this in today, actually. Really excited. The wings they look tuned already, so I'm not really gonna have to deal with any of that, which is gonna be nice. Yeah, just a great bird imitator, another great smallmouth bait. All right, going on to another trout imitating bait. This is the Hoog 9.5 inch. Tracers on the top, as per usual. Had this thing for a couple of months, thrown around a decent amount. I had it tuned to suspend like 1 to 2 feet under the water, and it was pretty nice. I didn't really have to worry about losing it, but now that I have the Hinkle, I want to fish it a little bit deeper, so I throw on some size 1 instead of size 2 quads, and I feel like that's going to be able to get it just a little bit deeper in the water column. I don't know if you've noticed, but so I use my Hinkle as like a, not top water, but like 1 to 2 feet down glide. This is my 3 to like 5 or 6 feet down, and then I have a Butch Brown Tune 250 that I'm going to show in a little bit. That's like more of a medium sink, and I fish that a lot deeper than these other big glides. But I have one big glide for every part of the water column, basically. So no matter where I'm fishing, I have something big to throw, I guess. But yeah, this is the Hoog. It's custom painted. I'm not exactly sure by who, but they just kind of added some like shad scales to it, a little bit of like a color, a little bit of blue. I love that blue on it. It's really, really nice. And then that purple on the cheeks is her only gill plates, I guess, is really cool. But yeah, this bait's phenomenal. No rash, which is insane. I've thrown in a decent amount. Very, very durable baits. Swim great. Very, very wide action. This is the 9.5, and I believe the 10 is a little bit more like a choppier action. But yeah, would heavily recommend the Hoog. Next up is a multi-piece shad that's painted in rainbow colorway, just because I like Matt Lure's rainbow trout paints. But this is a closer shad from him, 8 inches long. I think it's around a little over 4 ounces. Swims great. It's an extra slow sink. So and then I put lighter hooks on it as well. So it basically just suspends right underneath the water. And I kind of just like to crawl this really, really slow. Yeah, it is like rainbow trout colored, but the top, they don't really see the top. They only really see the bottom, which is, you know, looks like a shad. So it's a great bait that I got for a great price. So can't really complain. And I mean, the realism on this thing is insane. You can't beat Matt Savants or Servants. Don't forgive me if I'm butchering your name, but yeah, crazy bait, great action, just looks great in the water. And then we got a couple ABS. These are the only 2 ABS baits in my collection that I throw consistently. And that's mainly just because one of them is, you know, a Tiny Clash and US Trout. Love this thing. I have it with a little toothpick mod in the tail. I have a little bit of weight on the back so it sinks down, and then I have size 1 quads. And those allow it to be like more of a slow sink. I kind of just use it as like a really fast twitch glide. And this thing works great. Haven't really had any complaints on it. Have some cool tracer tape. That's what started it. This was the first bait that I got some for, and I was like, oh shit, that looks pretty cool. So yeah, it's a little bit rashed, but I mean, these things get torn up no matter how you fish them. And then the second small glide that I have is a 6th Sense draw. This is the first glide bait that I ever bought. Got me, you know, started, I guess, got me on the addiction. But it's got a really cool, like, I guess, like pearl, like slight purple color to it. And it's great for my small glide bait rod. It has a nice wider glide to it. And then I have size 1 quad and a size 2 quad in the back. So yeah, this thing swims great. It's a great bait. Both of these baits are 2 that I like to start people whenever they're fishing with me, whenever they are throwing like glide baits and stuff. I like to have them throw this first. So here it is. It's a SS250 new style, but it's tuned by Butch Brown. You can tell there's like little holes in the, you can see underneath where he like drilled and added the foam. Pretty cool. There's also like where the joint is, but it makes the joint adjustable. It's more of like a medium sink, and I have 1/0 quads on this thing. And yeah, I mean, this is, I think I said that earlier, but it's my deepest glide bait. I haven't fished this thing yet, but I plan on having it sink really, really low and really deep, and just kind of working it a lot deeper than everything else, or like along rockier structure, stuff that's more like steeper shores, which is Castaic. A lot of places at Castaic are a little bit rockier. So look forward to throwing this thing. Well, I mean, also Castaic Lagoon is where Butch Brown caught a lot of his bass. So it'd be kind of cool to catch a bass with one of his baits and one of his spots. So yeah, this is the Butch Brown tuned 250 in American Shad, I believe. So yeah, great bait. Here's another cool one. Roman Negotiator. Wooden baits. A little bit of tracer tape on top, of course. This thing, I've been having some issues with it. The nose is a little bit chipped from like rocks and stuff, and so it allows it to take on a little bit of water, and it's starting to dive a little bit like nose down on the end of the glide, and instead of just like suspending in the water, which is kind of annoying. But I was gonna like wood seal it or do something to it to stop it from taking on more water, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Cool bait. I just don't throw it as much as I want to, I guess. So, because I have so many other baits. It's kind of hard to pick whenever I'm out fishing. That's, I guess, one of my biggest issues is sticking to one bait whenever I'm fishing. So yeah, Roman Negotiator in, not exactly sure what colorway. It's like a blue gray on top, and then until it fades into like a white, it's white on the bottom. So, but yeah, sick bait. All right, second to last are my raw baits, trashy like wake baits. This one fell off the top shelf up there the other day, and the bill just like blew off of it. So I added a bunch of lead tape to the bottom of it from like my golfing stuff, and it sits a little bit lower in the water now, and it has more of like a rolling action, which, I mean, it's nice. I have 2 of these, so it was kind of nice to like, you know, experiment a little bit and try something else out. So and then this one's just stereotypical wake bait, dives maybe foot and a half down. Yeah, 5.5 ounces on both of these and 7 inches. So pretty hefty, but they get the job done. And this one's really cool. It's B&A painted in like a mirror carp finish. This is really, really cool. That's why when the bill blew off of it, I was really upset, and I worked hard to fix it. So yeah. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Triple Trout Breaktail. This is one of the floating models. It's a great bait. I haven't really thrown it too much, just because I have stuff I like a lot more. Like I said, I'm not really a big fan of the multi-pieces. But I mean, overall great bait. You can't really complain about a Triple Trout. Just staple. I always have it in my bag just in case, and it fits great on my my small Swimbait rod. It's 8 inches and about 2.5 ounces, so pretty easy to throw, not too cumbersome on any of your rods. So yeah, cool bait. And then on to the bread and butter, the Swimbait rods. This is the big bait rod. I'm throwing anything that's 3 ounces and above on this. It's a Guide Select Custom Black, I think extra heavy rod. So it's rated for, I think, 2 to 10 ounces, which is, pretty big range. It's not really too parabolic, which isn't the best for treble baits, but I like that. I don't really like to muscle the fish too much. I like a little bit more like of a finesse presentation, or not really finesse presentation, but I like to kind of finesse the fish in, and this allows me to, I don't have to apply a shit ton of pressure to keep the treble hooks pinned. It really keeps them pinned on the fish. And then I have it paired with a Tatula 300 with some 20-pound fluorocarbon on there. So, and then I have a Gomexus power handle attached to it. So yeah, pretty sick. And then on to the smaller Swimbait setup. I have this is also a second conventional rod. My main conventional rod is that Stratic behind me, but this is a Curado 150 DC paired with a G Loomis GCX heavy crankbait rod. It's great, has a great parabolic bend to it, keeps the treble hooks pinned on those smaller baits when I need to use a little bit less force than with my big ass baits to keep the treble hooks pinned. And yeah, I have 17-pound of Brazex on this, which is great line. Probably need to respool it soon. And then I have some cork Gomexus knobs on it, which look great, spin great, perform great. So I have no complaints at all with this rod. And then the final thing is I guess the way that I take them to the lake. I use a Swimbait Underground 12-inch wrap. This thing carries everything I need for day fishing. It's got 4 12-inch pockets, and then I have a couple extra singular wraps that I throw my Hinkle, my SS250 in to keep those safe. So yeah, that's everything I have with me whenever I go fishing. Plus my backpack and my GoPro and stuff. But yeah, thanks for checking out my channel. Hope you enjoyed.